Okay, Damon, here's the deal. I've read all the population studies, even by the eugenicists, by the UN. For over a decade, they've known that world population by 2022 to 2024 will plane out at 8.5 to 8.6 billion. Then they project in the next 20 years it will drop down below 8 billion. That's at current statistics, without more family planning and forced sterilization and forced abortions in China. India is the one nation that probably won't plane out. It'll just continue to grow, and it's mainly what pushes the trend up. But look at the West, from Japan, the industrialized world, to the classical West, Europe, the United States, Canada, a 1.3 population replacement rate for every 2 adults. For those that don't know, they have on average 1.3 children. And most of the population reduction programs being launched are being launched in the West against cultures that are already dying. The West is dying. And I have the Royal Commission from 49 where the British said if we industrialize the third world, they'll stop having kids. They'll be like the West and even stop replacing themselves. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go in and stop industrialization through the IMF and World Bank as a political tool and let the people bomb actually hold them back. So my problem is the UN says they want world government to reduce population, which you can argue we have too many or too less or whatever. When I say it's a non-issue, we need clean technologies. And, I could go on for 10 hours with all the evidence. It's a non-issue to scare everybody into resource wars, artificially making water and other things scarce.
But you go down to the Caribbean, Alex, and it's not a non-issue. I mean, you can see it clearly on playing out right there.
No, everybody is concentrated.
You've got men that have fathered up to 26 and 28 children. And father's a loose word because all they did was bounce around on the flowers and put their pollen where it needed to go. That's crazy, reckless behavior. If this is all about freedom, we want people to have freedom, and we want a world of freedom, and everybody else.
Hey, Damon, here's the deal: the UN wants to get rid of the.
You want the freedom? Are you worried about being deprived of your right, Alex, to have 28 kids?
I know the UN's calling
You're a great guy.
The UN's calling for me to only be able to have one. The UN's calling for me to only be able to have one. I have 3, Damon, and if I could, I would have 5 or 6.
Okay, Alex. Well, that comes at a cost, and our planet is actually of a limited size. If we continue to expand like we have, we don't have much of a world left that's worth enjoying. And I don't really care for asphalt and subdivisions, and I don't think that's progress. That's not a world that's actually very attractive. I don't.
Do you have any children?
Streets and the pavements. Yes, I do.
How many?
I have 3 daughters.
And do you want them to be able to procreate?
They may have a desire to, but inevitably that'll have to be their decision.
Well, but it may be the UN's decision. It may be the global government. After the banks have all bankrupted us by design.
If individuals on a global basis, Alex, are unable to make responsible decisions, then of course global government will likely step in and begin making those decisions for them. If the United States is unable to make rational, realistic decisions about its debt and its consumption and about its me right to consume the planet's resources,
the banks created the false debt system to take over.
We'll probably have to step in and begin to tell us how to behave because we've been unable to do it ourselves.
No. Population is going to peak in the next 12 years. It is going to peak, and then it's going to...
There's no way for you to know that. How do you know what's going to happen?
The UN for several decades has had very accurate statistical analysis. This is not...
That's projecting out into the future. It means nothing. Nobody knows what the future
Really, they projected 20 years ago that we'd have 7 billion people by 2010.
But I'm sure you also have other research that says that they genetically engineer viruses and that they could do population control by genetically engineering viruses as well. Could they not?
That's what Dick Cheney wants, yeah.
Well, there you go. Now, they don't have to do it. They don't. That will not. That could happen all by itself.
Damon, justice be done. May the heavens fall.
You put a bunch of chickens in a limited amount of space, and chances are they're going to face diseases.
Damon,
disease comes
there's 30+ million Chinese extra men. It's caused incredible suicide and problems in China. China has buoyed because They did a deal with the globalists to deindustrialize the West. They've been given all our money. Stay there. We'll come back. Talk about it.